Draft grades on some of the picks that caught our attention. A lot was made where Jeremiyah Love would land, and he ended up going number 3 to the Cardinals. What grade do you give that pick? Everyone's going to go around the horn here. We'll start with RC. Rye, what do you think?
I give this grade an A, and here's why. I know they wanted to trade back, but there was no one at number 3 that was going to be more dynamic, more impactful than Jeremiyah Love. And I believe when they couldn't find the right suitor for that pick, they went with the best player that can have the most upside and immediate impact right now, and that's Jeremiyah Love, in the same vein of those Saquon Barkleys and Bijan Robinsons.
Spears.
I agree with RC wholeheartedly. You take the best player that's available when you have so many needs around and throughout your football team. You bring in a stalwart guy that you think can start for your football team with a new head coach and get some of the energy and the juice going while you decide on the rest of your roster.
Yep. I'm disagreeing with the both of them and giving this grade a B because, number one, you can't protect them because you have nothing around them, and B, because I'm in no mood to agree with anything that RC and Swagoo has to say this morning.
I agree with you, Stephen A. I can't believe they gave them A's. No O-line, no quarterback. What are we talking about here? There had been a lot
I'm not agreeing with anything.
There had been a lot of talk about the Chiefs adding perhaps an offensive weapon, but they end up trading to number 6 to take a defensive back, essentially. What grade do we give the Chiefs for the pick? Ryan Clark, you first, around the horn again.
So it's LSU guy, right? So I'm going to give it a B+, and here's why. You were looking for a Jordan Tyson or a Cornell Tate, but the difference between Mansoor Delane and the next cornerback in this draft is so vast. You lost your 2 starting corners if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. He's a perfect fit for what Steve Spagnuolo wants to do. He can play off coverage. He can play press. He's a great tackler, and he competes. He's going to walk into that building on day 1 and be a starter. I love this pick, and I love the aggression to address a need with the best player at the position.
Hey, I'm going to put Stephen A in a whirlwind because I want to see what he's going to give him. This is an A+ for me. 1, because it's a position of need. 2, because I think you got a high-level cornerback with Steve Spagnuolo, who likes to pressure and put his corners in man-to-man situations. So I love the pick. You see Mansoor Delane at LSU, a lot of man-to-man coverage. He won a lot of those reps. You can put him in zone. You can play all of the defensive looks you want to play with him at cornerback. But more importantly, it was a position of need, and you got a high-level player, the best player in the draft at that particular position.
It was a position of need, especially after losing Trent McDuffie to the Rams when you moved. But I'm going to still disagree because I think they need more help on offense for Patrick Mahomes. And again, I'm not agreeing with anything that RC and Swagoo says this morning. So I'm disagreeing. I'm disagreeing.
What do you grade it? What's the grade?
A B. A B, not a B+ and not an A.
You agree with
Just because I disagree with y'all. He said a B+.
Okay, not only did they trade Trent McDuffie, they also traded Jalen Watson. So they had a hole to fill there. Finally,
I'm not agreeing with anything they say.
The Steelers drafted offensive tackle Max Iheanachor at 21 after being on the phone with wide receiver Makai Lemon while Philadelphia was calling Lemon to draft him at 20. Mess a little bit, but did they do the right thing? What grade do we give the Steelers, Ryan Clark?
I'm going to be honest. I give this a C. I think Makai Lemon was the guy, and Max Iheanachor is a young player in the sense that he's only been playing football since junior college. He's a Nigerian immigrant, so he's still learning to play this game. He's still trying to feel his way through. And think back to Broderick Jones, who was the starting tackle last year, and some of his troubles. I think the Steelers were caught in a bit of a conundrum when you're on the phone with Makai Lemon, and now you have to go to the next pick or to the next player on your board. They're going to have to do some work in the rest of this draft that they don't have a ton of picks in to find someone on this team that can continue to help offensively because there's so many holes if you're Mike McCarthy's offense.
Yeah, look, it's difficult, man, because these guys get drafted and you want to have a great, sound around them and but I agree with RC. It's a C because it doesn't move anything for me with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think if you would have went offense, and look, they ran into a conundrum because I thought Ty Simpson would have been a good choice for them at where they stood. Ty left at 13. Obviously, we just talked about Makai Lemon. So you go to a position that usually hits in the NFL. Very rarely do you draft an offensive lineman and he doesn't find his way on the field, whether that be at tackle or guard. But like RC said, there's experience, there's development that needs to take place. And trust me, these Pittsburgh Steelers fans are not going to be locked in on an offensive lineman next year. They'll be locked in on production offensively. Can they be explosive? All of the things we talked about last year that was missing with this offense.
I'm giving it an F. And it's not because of the player. I know that he can play, and I wish him nothing but the best, but you don't have a quarterback to block for. You don't really have a running game to block for. You've got no excitement whatsoever in Pittsburgh right now. Mike Tomlin is working on NBC, so we got to look forward to him instead of being on the sideline for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's nothing to be excited about as far as I'm concerned. And again, to say anything differently would be agreeing with RC and Swagoo, which I am not going to do.
Okay, but maybe getting some protection.
He is acting like a baby right now.
Hey, I will say this. This feels a lot like talking about Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart and Karl Anthony Towns and Mike Brown right now. So maybe, Swag, we would be giving the same exact grade if we were talking about what we saw on the court in Atlanta last night.
An F or a C? Which one would you give? You gave an F, you gave a C.
I'm going to get him.
Nonetheless,
I'm going to get him.
Nonetheless, maybe some blocking for Aaron Rodgers if he does come back is a good thing.
I'm going to get him.
Okay, let's break. Welcome back to First Take. First round of the NFL draft last night saw two NFC East teams make a trade. The Eagles moved up, thanks to the Cowboys, to select USC wide receiver Makai Lemon with the 20th pick in the first round. The pick only amplifies the notion that A.J. Brown is likely to be traded. So Lemon is one of four new Eagles wide receivers set to join the team. Only A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith were part of the team last year. The team has added Elijah Moore, Hollywood Brown, and Datavian Wicks to the wide receiver room this offseason. So now we go back to the Lemon of it all. Do we like it, love it, or hate the Lemon pick in the first round? RC, what do you think?
I hate the pick because he was supposed to go to Pittsburgh, Shay.
He was really close.
About what the Philadelphia Eagles was doing. He on the phone with my dog, Omar Khan, because he's supposed to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, and then Howie Roseman bamboozles us, leads us astray, runs us amok, and then he moves up with the Dallas Cowboys, for God's sake, of all teams, a team in the NFC East, to get Makai Lemon from right under our nose. I mean, the man was literally going to have to drive from the stadium to the south side to meet his new teammates and coaches. And Howie Roseman going to do that? Makai Lemon is one of those players that I expect to be an instant impact for the Philadelphia Eagles. And even if this means that A.J. Brown is gone, I think Devontae Smith can play 1A. I believe Makai Lemon can play 1B and get those dirty yards and be that Puka Nacua type player in the slot. Be that Jarvis Landry type player in the slot. Be somebody who can go make plays for his team that need to be made in absence of A.J. Brown. What Howie Roseman has done in building this wide receiver room now has its final piece with Makai Lemon, and you can move forward with A.J. Brown if your desire is to trade him once June comes.
Dan?
Yeah, I'm going to be quick here, okay? Number one, this is my first extended time spending time in the city of Pittsburgh. City's been absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable, okay? I just wanted to get that out there, RC. Unbelievable. Football-wise, one, with this pick, I think this expedites the A.J. Brown trade as far as realistic chances it happens. If I were the Rams, I'd try to call and sneak in there instead of the Patriots. So I do think A.J. is going to get traded. Two, Sean Mannion comes over. He comes from the McVay, Shanahan, Matt LaFleur tree. One of the things that you need in a receiver is the ability to work the middle of the field, motion shift, and be willing to block in the run game. That's Makai Lemon. I think Makai Lemon is going to become the Philadelphia Eagles version of Puka Nacua.
Stephen A.
I don't give a damn. That's my answer to this question. I just finished saying, hearing RC